Partial refund for spectators who attended Lionel Messi's match in Hong Kong. A look at how the city is spending Chinese New Year's Eve. Hello and welcome to TVB News. Following widespread disappointment and anger over Argentine football superstar Lionel Messi's no-show in a friendly match in Hong Kong on Sunday, Tatler Asia today said they will offer a 50% refund to spectators who bought tickets from official channels. Mimosing Ai has details.
On Sunday, almost 40,000 spectators gathered at Hong Kong Stadium to watch the friendly match between Inter Miami and Hong Kong 11. They all expected to see football superstar Lionel Messi play. However, they were disappointed after Messi sat on the bench throughout the 90-minute match. The organizer Tatler Asia announced today that they will arrange a 50% refund for spectators who bought tickets for the match through official sales channels. Tatler Asia said they have been in discussions with the government and the Consumer Council to fix the issue. Details about the refund process will be provided in a separate communication by mid-March. The government released a statement saying they welcomed the refund. Authorities described Tatler Asia's policy as a responsible act. Speaking to the press, Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Kevin Yeung said individuals may still have questions as to why Messi was able to play in Japan but not in Hong Kong despite his injuries. Yeung said authorities hope the relevant party can provide the public with an explanation. A spectator who spent $2,300 on a match ticket said he is pleased with the 50% compensation.
I didn't expect any refund. Even I'm the fan of Messi, but he didn't come out to the play. It's disappointing a little bit, but the match between Hong Kong team and Inter Miami is really good, especially in the upper half. So that's why I didn't expect or request any refund.
Lai hoped organizations can be more transparent with spectators in the future if a similar event is to be held again. As of 5 p.m., the Consumer Council said they had received 1,358 complaints regarding the match. The council reminded football fans to keep their tickets, receipts, or other forms of evidence for the refund procedures in March. News 9, TVB News.
Rod Stewart, the veteran British singer who is scheduled to perform in Hong Kong in March, has cancelled his concert due to unforeseen circumstances. The announcement was made by the concert organizer, with sources saying the cancellation was due to lukewarm ticket sales. The 79-year-old singer was set to perform at the Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Centre on March 11th. The organizer said ticket holders will be refunded. Reports said Stewart had also cancelled shows in Taiwan, Thailand, Malaysia, and the Philippines. Portuguese football superstar Cristiano Ronaldo and his Al Nassr teammates sent greetings to Chinese fans for the Year of the Dragon in Putonghua.
Ni hao, China. Are you ready?
The video was posted on Chinese social media. The players greeted fans in both Putonghua and English, wishing them that their dreams will come true in 2024. Al Nassr were set to play Chinese Super League teams in 2 matches in Shenzhen last month, but 2 days after the players arrived, Ronaldo pulled out of the game with a muscle injury. The matches were postponed to a future date. Ronaldo later apologized, and there was reportedly a full ticket refund. Today is Chinese New Year's Eve, and residents celebrated the occasion by visiting the flower markets where food stalls, items that bring good fortune, as well as Lunar New Year-themed goods are sold. People also flock to wet markets to buy the freshest groceries to prepare for the annual reunion dinner. To find out how residents are spending Chinese New Year's Eve, Timothy Lee is reporting live at the Victoria Park Flower Market. So hi, Tim, what is the atmosphere like at the park right now?
Hi, Mel. Large crowds continue to come to the Victoria Park Flower Market this evening, and the festive spirit is still very strong here. As you can see, there are animal mascots here who are trying to raise the festive spirits. And as you can see behind me, many people are trying to buy flowers as well as fortune pinwheels and an assortment of items said to bring good luck. So now let's take a look at what happened at the park earlier today. Victoria Park is in a festive mood today, as many residents and visitors alike dressed in red to celebrate the Lunar New Year at the flower market. Among the revelers here today was Financial Secretary Paul Chan, who made his way to Victoria Park at around 3 this afternoon. He was seen interacting with children and distributing Fai Chun, which are traditional Lunar New Year decorations. The finance chief also checked out a stall run by a group of youngsters selling New Year toys and gifts. He bought 2 fortune pinwheels and wished Hong Kong a new year of good fortune, and later purchased a pot of moth orchids for $288. Some vendors in the Victoria Park Flower Market shared the thoughts on their business situation this year.
Originally, we are quite worried about making big loss, so therefore we set price about 20 to 30% lower than the price we set before the COVID. But right now, the business is making very well, and in fact, we are already making very good profits.
This as Chief Executive John Lee headed to the flower market at Yunhua Road in Shotton earlier today. Lee spoke with some children about their goals for the new year and wished them good health. The CE said he was happy to see the smiling faces of residents as masks are no longer mandatory after the pandemic. He later bought a pot of orchids from a local vendor for $330, as well as lilies for $200 as a gift for his mother. Speaking about the fireworks over Victoria Harbour on Sunday, Lee said the government is prepared to handle the increased people flow on that day. Meanwhile, many residents headed to wet markets across the city to purchase groceries to prepare for the Lunar New Year reunion dinner. At the Kowloon City Market, almost all stalls were well supplied to meet New Year demands. Many people hurried to the market to get the freshest chicken and fish, which serve as essential ingredients for dishes in the traditional reunion dinner. Some of the most popular seafood today include groupers, prawns, and a variety of shellfish. Some of their prices are similar to those of last year. But some vendors said the people flow this year was lower than that of the previous one. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
In other news, a fire engine's ladder collapsed today during a test trial at Kowloon Bay Fire Department. The video shows an aerial ladder suddenly crashing down onto Kai Chung Road in Kowloon Bay. The ladder was bent in half and lay across the entire Kai Chung Road, which consists of 6 lanes. The fire engine was parked inside the fire station and no one was injured. Still ahead, U.S. President Joe Biden's cognitive ability under the spotlight. U.S. Supreme Court considering whether Donald Trump can run for the presidency again. National security trial of Jimmy Lai continues. Welcome back. A special counsel investigation found Joe Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after leaving the vice presidency. But the decision was not to charge him. Special counsel Robert Hur said it represented serious risks to national security, and the investigation raised questions about Biden's ability to remember things, describing the U.S. president as an elderly man with a poor memory. This report from NBC News.
Tonight, the long-awaited report by special counsel Robert Hur concludes that no criminal charges against President Biden are warranted. But the investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after his vice presidency when he was a private citizen, including marked classified documents about Afghanistan and notebooks with sensitive intelligence sources and methods, which he shared with a ghostwriter. The report says that posed serious risks to national security. And at a time when polls show most Americans have concerns about the 81-year-old president's mental and physical health, the special counsel's report offers scathing details of what it calls his diminished faculties and faulty memory. Writing, if charged, Mr. Biden will likely present himself to the jury, as he did during his interview with our office, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. It would be difficult to convince a jury they should convict him. According to the report, Mr. Biden did not remember when he was vice president, forgetting on the first day of the interview when his term ended, and forgetting on the second day of the interview when his term began. He did not remember, even within several years, when his son Beau died. The president's attorneys writing, "We do not believe that the report's treatment of President Biden's memory is accurate or appropriate."
The extraordinary circumstances here require the appointment of a special counsel.
Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed the special counsel in January of last year, after President Biden's attorneys first discovered classified documents at one of his former offices on November 2, 2022. The White House waited until after the midterm elections to tell the public. And the report includes these photos of where prosecutors say more classified documents were improperly stored in a badly damaged box near a collapsed dog crate in Mr. Biden's Delaware garage. A separate special counsel investigated former President Trump for allegedly mishandling classified documents found at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Some boxes found inside a bathroom. Mr. Trump was charged with 40 criminal counts, to which he's pleaded not guilty. Tonight, the former president is calling the lack of charges in the Hur report a two-tiered system of justice. But the report argues the two cases are different.
After a special counsel investigation found U.S. President Biden improperly kept classified documents and questioned his competence in remembering things, Biden held an unplanned briefing to hit back at the report and deny the claims against him.
I did not willfully retain these documents. In addition, I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business. I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away or passed away.
The U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday heard arguments over whether former President Donald Trump can legally run for president in November. This occurred after the Colorado Supreme Court ruled in December that Trump would be kicked off the ballot for engaging in what has been labeled an attempt to overthrow the U.S. government on January 6, 2021. Daniel Rowell tells us more.
Conservative and liberal justices alike questioned during arguments about whether Trump can be disqualified from being president again because of his efforts to undo his loss in the 2020 U.S. election to Democrat Joe Biden, ending with the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Their main concern was whether Congress must act before states can invoke a constitutional provision that was adopted after the U.S. Civil War to prevent former office holders who engaged in insurrection from holding office again. There were also questions about whether the president is covered by the provision. The U.S. Supreme Court appeared to steer away from the Colorado decision, with both liberal and conservative judges expressing concern. The justices said Colorado's decision, if upheld, could have extraordinary ramifications. Chief Justice John Roberts said this would enable a single state to control the entire national election. He added that if Colorado is allowed to bar Trump from the election, it could later backfire on Democrats. He said should Colorado's argument win, he would expect a good number of Republican states to remove Democrat candidates from future ballots. Justice Elena Kagan said allowing a single state to determine the entire presidential election would be extraordinary. She said, why should a single state have the ability to make this determination, not only for their own citizens, but for the rest of the nation? Liberal justices also expressed worry over whether kicking Trump off the ballot could have negative consequences. Liberal Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson said her question is why the framers would have designed a system that could result in interim disuniformity in this way. A definitive ruling in favor of Trump, the leading Republican candidate for president, would largely end efforts in Colorado, Maine and elsewhere to prevent his name from appearing on the ballot. Dan Orell, TV News.
At least 9 people were killed in Israeli airstrikes overnight into Friday in the central area of the Gaza Strip and in the southern city of Rafah on the border with Egypt. The overnight airstrikes came hours after U.S. President Joe Biden said that he considers Israel's conduct of the war to be over the top. Meanwhile, Palestine's Justice Minister Mohammed Fahad al-Shaladeh said Palestinian authorities will sue Israel in international courts for committing war crimes against the Palestinian people. The minister condemned the decision of some countries to stop funding UNRWA due to accusations that some of its employees participated in military operations against Israel. And back locally, today is the 27th day of the national security trial of former media tycoon Jimmy Lai. The prosecution continued to question former associate publisher of Apple Daily, Chan Pui-man, who said Lai shared his personal views during the company's lunch sessions, which affected the political direction of its publications. Lai was brought to the West Kowloon Law Courts by prison van earlier today. Chan said during her testimony that Lai suggested interviewing individuals on topics related to international affairs, including issues such as the city's extradition law and the one-year anniversary of the Sino-US trade war. She added that Lai believed such topics could instigate other feature stories. That's the news. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening. Happy Chinese New Year.